In today's review, let's talk O'Go. Where did it go? I'm actually so disappointed that O'Go has gone bye-bye. Okay, so I really do like to complain. I can be called the grievance queen too. I just try to keep some of the complaints to a minimum, so because negative attracts negative. So when this yarn came out and it came into my hand, I stand behind the review that I did on this yarn of the O'Go product when it first came out. I thought it was innovative. I didn't understand it at first, but then I realized that it has a purpose. And as we progressed throughout the O'Go thing, all of a sudden it started disappearing off the shelves. And I'm like, okay, it's not available here, and the products that were made with it are starting to come back in the ball format again. And I'm like, okay, well, what is going on? And then I saw major clearances going on. So I think this is one of those products where we, the crocheters and knitters, kind of ran an innovation to the ground. And maybe for some of you, you're quite happy about it. But for me, I'm quite disappointed that it's gone. So listen. This is one of those innovations where I didn't quite understand it at first, but then I got used to it and then I fell in love with it. And then thanks to the people that complained about it and didn't want to buy it anymore, it got yanked off the shelf. And I'm like, oh, why is that going on in my life? And I have to applaud Yarnspirations for coming up with a new concept, because I personally get tired of people complaining about tangled balls. We're working with a fiber product, and that I do expect that, but then some people cannot handle it and they lose their mind. So I applaud Yarnspirations and the effort to what it took to change the machinery in order to create the O'Go format. And I'm like, well, good for you, because now you're going to take the complaint status off of the idea of what people are saying and fix it. But unfortunately, it did not fly. So a few reviews of this yarn kind of, I think, helped to run it to the ground. One of the things that upset me in the reviews and what people said online was the packaging. So the retailer came along and they said they want a peggable, so they had a hole so that they could put it through and hang it. Other retailers wanted to sit it down on a shelf. So Yarnspirations had to come up with a double proposal to make sure that the ones that wanted to peg it and the ones that wanted it to sit flat were happy at the same time without having two different packages. And I think the idea that there's too much packaging for the yarn is kind of true, but then I think about when I go grocery shopping, the amount of waste that it takes to buy groceries and what I buy in groceries on a weekly level versus what I buy in yarn, this completely dwarfs the idea of waste to my point of view, because I just pop it into recycling. So I know some people don't recycle or whatever, that's not my problem. But I thought, if you're gonna be involved in commercialism in some way, participating in the retail experience, you are creating waste. And so it originally, and I'll tell you this, I know this firsthand, is that there was never going to be a paper package on this. The original that I received actually had a ball band just around the top of it only, but they had to adjust it to see to the needs of the retailer so that they could display it. It's not just about creating a product, it's also about creating a product to make it more desirable for consumers. So in effort to appease to the shopping experience, the retailers are adjusting for that. So then the complaints about the paper and the packaging, is that really a retail problem, or is that a commercial problem for ourselves when we go shopping of what we see, we like, and more? Because I think about when you buy an appliance, for example, is that it's all color graphics on the outside of the appliance box, when they could just stamp it and just put a price tag on it. We are very driven towards packaging, and unfortunately that was one of the reviews that I didn't think was very fair. So even though the O'Go thing was a no-go, basically, I think some of the yarn, especially here Karen Big Donut, this yarn was fabulous. I just absolutely love this yarn. It's unfortunate that the packaging kind of ruined it for everybody in that sense. So you may see this come back out as a different name of a product because it has to be done differently, but I thought most of the product was actually really quite good when it comes to the O'Go format. And there was a lot of assumptions that really ruined it as well. Red Heart Super Saver was the same amount of yardage and the same weight in an O'Go format as the original ball, but people couldn't wrap their head around because they see the flat ball, but then they see this format here and they say, oh, I'm getting far less. I'm like, did you even take a look at the yardage? And the weight? No, you have to go bang it on social media. Oh, it's not the same thing. Yeah, it was. So anyway, that's kind of probably helped propel that too. So I think it's one of those ideas where the yarn companies are trying to appease what people are complaining about on social media, but it really does come back down to ourselves and what we complain about. So some things that they see a lot of complaints on, they can address. And other things, when they try to address it, people don't like the change, and therefore it gets stifled. So I'm all about change to a certain degree. I like change, I like progression, I like evolution. I like how we start off with a small idea and it gets into bigger and bigger and bigger. But some people just can't handle the change. And so they put their foot down, and that's the end of change. And we go back to what we're used to. I know, sad.